how are you?
I'm fine. Are you?
I'm well, thanks for asking.
What is your name, please?
My name is Jade, and I'm a student at Georgia State in my junior year as a political science major.
Um, you've agreed to be interviewed about mental illness and specifically post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Yes, that is correct.
What is your mental illness?
Well, I was diagnosed of this year, 2017, as PTSD, what would be called post traumatic stress disorder, as well as anxiety.
Um, can you tell us what factors contributed to your illness?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot. It will have to be a deal with a lot of abuse, child abuse in the household and outside, as well as sexual abuse, as well as harassment in the community, and as well as school.
Was your environment a factor in this illness?
I will have to say yes. Is when exactly when I was sexual assaulted, and the person who assaulted me was related to a political person. And instead of people coming to my aid as a 14-year-old, people just harassed me and called me names that I didn't understand, treating me on levels that I didn't even know what it meant to be a whore or anything. So that that kind of did something to me, and the fact is that I didn't trust people a lot. I stopped communicating a lot to other people because I just thought people were just it was mean.
Uh, our presentation is dealing specifically with how PTSD relates to the black community. How do you see um, your experience as it relates to the black community?
I would say my experience to the black community, it's a double sword. I would say, um, even though that we talk about mental illness openly today as a positive thing, well, I can't say it wasn't like that a couple about 20 something years ago. In the black community, I was cast out as being crazy or too emotional or just different. And so every time I tried to express myself, people just ignored me because they just thought I was already crazy, so why listen even more?
I've asked you if you, actually, have I asked you if you thought environment was a factor?
Oh, yes. Because the reason why I think it's a factor is because it's like the popularity contest. Everybody wants to be liked, and everyone wants to be accepted. And now that one person who is not accepted or who are meant to be different, it seems like they're doomed to just be outcasts. And people around treat them like they doesn't exist or anything does something deeply mentally to a person. That person may not be in a sexual abuse or anything like that, but not being spoke to or uh, being what's the word?
Ostracized?
Not just ostracized, or just being with company, human
Right.
contact.
Excluded.
Exactly. It does stuff to you because you don't know how to react. You don't know how to contact with human beings because your early notion is always negative, and people telling you you're this, and you don't understand this because you're that. And so the black community has already got negative about them that we have to be perfect. Now there's a child who's not perfect, and so what the other culture deemed to be just teasing, in the black community it turns out to be more harassing.
What's your class background, and how do you feel that's contributed?
I would say my class background, I lived in many classes. I actually was born into upper class, which a lot of people I don't get along with because I'm different in that way. But I also was raised in a working middle class as well as poor income. And for being able to live there, I also experienced more harassment because I was different, not just mentally different, I was just different. I was raised differently, I had more freedom. People say white privilege, but I would say I just had privilege. I thought all kids went to circus and had, get dressed up and went to etiquette school. When my parents moved me out of the life that I lived in, that's when I started to realize it was different. And then that's when my life started to go downwards because the kids started to be really mean to me. Even not just kids, adults. People started treating me that I thought that I was different or that I wanted to be white, but without realizing this is who I am.
When were you diagnosed, when were you first diagnosed with a mental illness?
Well, back in the day, again, I'm 35 years old, so we're going back in the 90s. They didn't really give you a diagnosis. They just say that you're dyslexic or something like that. It doesn't give you more details. So it took me the first time in 2012 is when I got diagnosed of having anxiety because I was having problem concentrating in class. It got worse in 2017. I was having problems again concentrating in class, just concentrated with my emotions and everything all at once. And when I took a break in the spring of 2017 is when we found out that I was diagnosed with PTSD.
Okay.
So we found out that all the history that I've been through led me to have that.
So that history has taken a period of time. It has not been very quick.
No.
It's been spread out over some time.
Yes.
Okay. Finally, how has this illness defined your life?
I would have to say define my life in many ways great because I get to understand about a situation that not most people don't know about, and I get to speak about it in a positive way. I get to become a testimony of those young teenagers or anyone who's experienced through anything to let them know that this is not illness, this is not negativity, this is something that happened. Yeah, it sucks, but we have an awesome life, and maybe that because of this, it's given me more courage to talk out.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, thank
your
you for
time.
asking me to be interviewed.
Sure.
How was that?
Good?